Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 23rd episode of the 42 Podcast. And as always, to the left of my screen, your good friend and mine, Mr. Ryan. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Jacob?
You know, pretty good. Had a good holiday weekend. It was the 4th of July here in the United States for our non-American listeners. I know there's a couple of y'all.
Yeah, happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Did you have a good time? Did you see the fireworks?
Yeah, I got one of the family members actually as part of the production in Tomball.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
So where I was sitting, and then the little rope that says you can't go any farther. So it was literally as close as you could get without putting a helmet on, like a fire suit, and going out there and shooting them. I was maybe 200 yards, 250 yards away from the thing. I could feel the concussion of them launching. I was like, oh shit. And then they're in the air like exploding over you like the big 10 inches. The sparks actually felt like they were coming over us. I was like, this is awesome.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, we just watched the people in the neighborhood shoot off fireworks because they love their fireworks here, man. Like, did you get that? Did I text you the picture from like being able to buy them in Walmart?
Yeah, like at a gas station or whatever. It's like, hey, have some cigarettes and a Roman candle.
No beer, though. No beer. But, yeah, but it was also one of those things where we got started a bit early, and after about 3, I don't think either of us were good enough to drive. Like, we didn't get overly sloppy, but we were just, we got to that nice point and just held it for about 5 hours.
Yeah, just got, you're just like, man, I feel pretty good. And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, we just watched TV and played Dota, and yeah, it was a good time.
I love playing video games slightly drunk because you can't tell that you're worse at the game. It's just like you just are a little worse and you're like, oh, this is hard.
That's why, especially when I've been drinking and if I'm playing Dota, I always go with a character that doesn't require as much precision. Not as many active abilities.
Just blank them. Just blank it. You're like, I picked the carpet bomber guy. The guy that
pretty much, yeah. Or sniper or something.
Yeah, the flat cannon dude.
But, we want to give a good shout out to the Women's World Cup champion, team. They won. They beat Japan yesterday 5-2.
How much do you care about FIFA now that the scandal happened?
Well, I really don't care about FIFA, but I care about the US doing well.
Is there any integrity in the actual games?
I think in the games, like the FIFA games, are mostly on the up and up, but definitely the site selection isn't. And those.
Okay, so maybe that's just where the corruption lied. What's the advantage of having a like the World Cup at your place? Wouldn't it cost more?
It is starting to.
Then it generates?
It's why a lot of places are starting to say no to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And if you want it for really, industrialized countries like the U.S., it would be a boom to the economy because the
Olympics
or the
World Cup
because we already have all the facilities. I mean, you could easily have the Summer Olympics in Dallas and not build a new facility. Or if you did, you build it, you do like what London did, and they built the new arena, and that's where Manchester United plays now. When the Olympics were in Atlanta, they built the new baseball stadium where the Braves still play. So if you do stuff like that, it makes sense. But, what Brazil has done, they have these huge 80,000 person stadiums that no one's using.
Oh,
or the same with Russia, like whatever that thing was, 2 years ago. No one's using that stuff anymore.
That's true. Yeah, that almost bankrupts Russia. Or so they say. Who knows? It seems like they got tons of money, though.
Oh, they're just.
But that was definitely a financial. That would be kind of cool to have that ability, right? You're like, hey, how much money do you need? And you're like, I don't know, like a couple $100,000. You're like, all right, hey man, run down to the printing presses, get us a couple sheets of cash. We're going out tonight,
Yeah, and that's what's making the whole Greece thing interesting, because most countries, when they get into the financial trouble that they're in, they just print enough money to pay off all their debts. But they can't because they're with the euro.
The euro, the What is that called?
It's
The Union, the European Union?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it will probably destroy the EU. The EU will cease to exist, or for all intents and purposes, cease to exist by the end of this year, I would suspect.
You don't think they'll just kick Greece out?
They can't.
Blame some type of, lack of financial, I don't know, responsibility on them or something?
Maybe. And, for a lot of countries, it would be good if they were to leave the euro and not,
Germany would do well.
Well, Germany would do well, but a lot of countries, the problem is having one currency over so many nations is the economic situation is different for each country. So the monetary policy can't flex for those individual countries. And since Germany runs the EU for all intents and purposes, it just flexes around what Germany likes. And what Germany needs is not necessarily what Austria needs or Spain needs or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense why they would be having issues.
So, yeah, it's bad.
I wonder what the advantage of... I wonder how they got talked into it. Like, what was the advantages of doing it?
Well, one of the ideas is free trade. It's easy to... You can travel as easily, never have to change currencies, trade between countries because they are so close to each other. People don't understand. A lot of people don't understand just how small Europe really is.
Yeah.
Texas is the size of most of Europe. It's a
Right,
little. And so, when borders are that close, having open borders, open currency is fine. But, it causes issues, like I said, with economic policies because, you can have countries on either side of the continent that have completely different economies. One can be agrarian and one can be more commercial, water-based. And so it like I said, doesn't allow the flexibility. But for some countries, it seemed like a good idea because it would give them a stable currency. They some of the smaller countries that didn't have great financials that were still ravaged after the world wars, they were able to have a strong centralized currency that everyone would react to, and it made them easier to sell their goods internationally because of the euro. It seems like a great idea, but it just doesn't work well. Could you imagine? Well, it works in the U.S., but there's less autonomy between the nations.
States.
Yes, states. Nation states.
Whoa, easy.
Hey, did you see the thing about Texas and their gold?
What about our gold? I'm a Texan. What's up?
Okay, Texas owns in physical gold about $650 million worth. Not a small amount. They are pulling it all inside their borders. Some of it's at Fort Knox. Some of it's they're collecting it all and bringing it inside the state of Texas.
Interesting.
Which is a very
conspiracy theories run rampant.
Oh yeah. Secession. It's coming.
What's the Illuminati doing? Hey, I got an interesting question. You could correct me because you'll know more than I do.
Okay.
Couldn't you have the European Union currency, right? That allowed you to travel and, do commerce between businesses across borders and all of that, right? But all of the individuals got paid in their home currency, and they had to have an exchange rate.
Well, then
there's some.
Well, you can do that, but it's not worth the effort, really.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But a lot of people do that with dollars. That's one reason the dollar, even though our economy is as screwed up as it is one reason the dollar does well is because so many people accept it.
Everywhere I've gone, dollars have always run.
They will always pay.
Always take a dollar. Yeah. In Mexico and Canada, dollars were good.
Oh, yeah,
we'll take a dollar. Yeah, you don't have to exchange it. It's fine.
Yeah, so that's. You'll pay a little bit extra, but yeah, they took dollars without a problem in Costa Rica.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason why our economy, our currency is as stable as it is.
I think the dollar seemed more valuable to them in Honduras than their money did.
Oh, absolutely, because it's
if I had the same value of, it's like $1 and $1, they would much rather have the American dollar than their dollar.
Oh, absolutely, because dollars tend to have more purchasing power across nations than, because, currencies flux between every other currency.
Right.
And there tends to be what is called like purchasing power parity. So it'll equivalency. So if you were to rotate a dollar, say to buy as much as you can of a British pound to a euro to peso back to a dollar or whatever, it would still be worth a dollar. But that's not always the case. So, and it doesn't happen as much now because we have computerized systems that pick up on these things.
Fix that, yeah.
Well, it's the traders can react to it so fast. Only a few people get to use it, but they're called arbitrage opportunities because it'll happen to where if you do sort of the three-leg currency movement,
you can make money.
You can make money, and there have been times where you can make a lot of money.
Well, yeah, depending on how much capital you have, make a dollar each time you make a circle, and you just make a million circles. That's $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
Pay the taxes. Everybody gets their cut. Nobody, everybody, all the palms get greased. We're good, boys.
Yeah, currency is weird because unlike stocks, which swing 10, 15% at a time sometimes, like a big movement in currency is 2%. Like if like the dollar were to drop 2% a day, it's a big deal. Like it's so stable because there's so much of it and it's traded so much, and I don't even want to know how many dollars are out in the world.
Oh, that's an interesting number. I wonder what that is.
Let's see. Let's ask the internet.
What do you? Let's guess before you look it up.
I'm talking circulation, not
actual physical cash. If we collected it all into a building,
I'm gonna go with like a $500 billion, like 500 B.
I was gonna say 2 trillion.
1.2. We were in the middle.
Huh? Not bad.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. What is it? The average lifespan of a dollar bill is like 8 months, I think.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, it'll circulate all the way through and it'll be destroyed at the Federal Reserve.
Wow. Well, as fun as economic talk is to all these people that are listening to us, I've got something a little more fun to watch. You want to watch this video I just sent you?
Sure, hold on. Crap. People are here.
Now, I want to preface this with the idea that you can just, if you've got the cash, you can walk in, hand them the cash, they'll hand you the keys, and you can walk out and get in this car and drive it off, right? Like there's no rules that say you can't own this car. You don't have to prove you have the ability to own this car, none of that. You at 0?
Mm-hmm.
All right, ready?
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so tell us about this car.
It's a Mustang GT 350R. And if anybody's watching the video, the guy can barely keep it on the road. And he's a professional Ford driver. So this is their hired gun that's been driving this car for a while to get used to it. It sounds like the devil made the motor. It's the most evil sounding car. It's unbelievable. It's it's a 2015, or I think it's a 2016 Mustang. Listen to that.
That thing was fishtailing for the first half a mile.
Look at him. He's still sawing. He's at the celebration of speed in Europe somewhere, I think. And it's just one fast car after fast car after fast car. That car in front of him, which he almost catches before the finish line, was an RS200 rally car from Ford. It's like $1 million car. Look at him, professional driver like crazy. Can you believe you can just go buy that?
Yeah, I don't know.
The future's so crazy, dude. Drink. Everybody drink.
I don't know why, like, if I got super rich, I would obviously buy a very fast car. But for the most part, I don't know why. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't want to drive a Ferrari every day. I would definitely want to drive something more like a nice...
There are those days where you just need to feel that rumble and that and that shift in the sideways, and you're like, I just got to get it out of your system.
Yeah, when we get super rich, we'll buy some land in the hill country and pave it and just have like a 2-mile track.
I'm in. We don't even have to do like a 2-mile track. We do like a 1/4 mile track in the hills, and we'll just buy those go-karts with Hayabusa motors on them. They're like little F1 cars. If y'all haven't seen the videos of people driving the shifter carts, is what they're called. There's one where a guy unloads his shifter cart and he's got an R1000 motor from a Yamaha on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got like a full F1 telemetry steering wheel, and he's got LED lights in the front. Unloads it in a parking garage in a city, right? Starts it up, and he's got GoPros, and they do all the checks. He drives it down the parking ramp, checks both ways. You can see him with his GoPro. He checks. There's no cars, and he just pulls out into the street, and then he just goes on this like 5-mile, 150 mile an hour, it feels like, just gosh. He's driving onto the freeways, and he's passing people on the shoulders on the on-ramps. Gosh! And he's like not just passing one, but like 4 at a time. And then he'll just cut over like a super bike across like 4 lanes, and he's and cars are just flying by. Shoop, 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 shoop. And he's just like on this little bitty go-kart, it's all shaking, and he's taking exit ramps at like 100. It's like, holy shit. He passes a cop, and the cop doesn't even pull out. It's like, okay, whatever, you can... Whatever you're doing is on your own, Big.
You're probably going to die, but...
It's a great video. It's like a 5-minute video, and he pulls back into the parking garage, and his friends are like, yeah! Yeah, they're like little F1 cars. That's what we need, dude. Or those, what is that car? They had it on Top Gear that was so insane. It was that kit car. You build it yourself in your garage for like 20 grand.
I didn't see that one.
It looks like a little F1 car. It's insane. Oh, golly, I'm so close to thinking of it. Whatever. Never mind. Yeah, if you had the money, though, what would be your dream car? Like, if you're going to buy a fast car, what do you get? Or if you just could buy any car.
I mean,
assuming you had your Mercedes or Beamer and your M5 that you just drove. Your fun car. What are you thinking?
That bored out Bugatti Veyron that was like 1,200 horsepower.
Oh, the Bugatti, the SS? The carbon fiber wrapped one? Yeah, super slick.
Oh, yeah. It's like $3 million.
I think my fast weekend car... Man, I'm a huge fan of that Audi R8.
That's a sexy car.
Get the V10, supercharge it, lower it, Yeah, so anyway, we need y'all to sign up for Patreon and send us some money.
Yeah, we actually need to get that Patreon up and running. But...
So how's the Super Nerd 6er doing?
It's good. Did you catch last week's?
Yes.
Yes, what'd you think?
I'm trying to remember. There was one song in particular that I thought was really fun.
Let me look.
It was about adventure? What was it about?
Let's see here.
Like the 3rd or 4th song, maybe the 5th. I can't remember exactly. I listened to it, and then it just ends, and I'm like, oh, damn. It's like I forget I'm not listening to like Pandora or something.
Can I start repeating it? Like repeating the songs at the end, would that help?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because we had the Telltale Heart from MC Lars, then Singing Emo, then Just Decide, and No One Likes Superman Anymore by I Fight Dragons, and Nerd Girl and Emo Party by MC Chris.
I think it was the Dragon song. I don't remember though. I'd have to listen again. Which is no big deal. It's only 20 minutes and really good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying
I wish I could set up my phone, because I have it set up where if I listen to a podcast all the way through, right? So the whole thing,
right?
It deletes it off the hard drive, and it deletes yours. And I'm like, damn it! I don't want that one deleted. This is the one that I don't want to delete. I want to listen to it 2 or 3 times.
I'll just start tossing them up on the OneDrive or something. You can just listen to it through there, or I can just email you the file and you can stick it on your phone.
I'm just saying for everybody listening to this, they really need to get in on that if they haven't listened to this.
It's good stuff. If the metrics are right, we got like 60 listeners on it, so
hell yeah, it's worth it.
And if you want to find it, you can just subscribe to this podcast on iTunes and you'll get it and this podcast and any of our future podcasts, which are coming eventually. We do have
a friend
lives
that I might end up doing a drunk podcast with.
Nice.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Those are fun when you can keep your head together.
Dude, speaking of getting drunk, I can't say any names, and I can't even actually admit that I was there. But I might have been at a party Thursday night where everyone got wasted. I'm talking like 18-year-old drunk, dude. So we normally throw like this card, like Cards Against Humanity. Maybe play some what's that fighting game on Nintendo that's pretty
Right, like Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, that's pretty multiplayer friendly. Super Smash Brothers, maybe some Mario Party. Well, since this weekend was 4th of July and most people got Friday off considering the holiday was actually on a Saturday. So most people got maybe Friday and Monday. That's how it kind of works here. We take 4th of July pretty seriously. So anyway, we decided that we were going to drink. We were going to like do drinking games.
Bad idea.
Well, we just ended up drinking. We never really got around to the drinking games. We just drank. I'd say there was probably 20 people there and probably 10 bottles, like 750 milliliter bottles. I woke up in the morning. I passed out at one point. I'm not really exactly sure what happened. At some point I passed out, and then I woke up in the morning all like, what happened? And there's just empty bottles. Not a single thing has liquor in it. Like we had a giant fucking like novelty size sake bottle. Gone. The whole fucking thing's gone. Everything was gone. All the beers are gone. There's just people laid out like a 60s like orgy, just passed out. It's like, what happened? Like, they've only got half their clothes on, and the other half's not even there. It's like, what happened here? It's like, we don't know. Nobody can remember. It was a crazy party.
I haven't gone that hard in a long time, but I do have a suggestion for you.
Okay.
If you want a really good game to play at parties, you need to get Super Fight.
Super Fight?
Yes, it's a card game where what happens is, the rules are really flexible, but this is how we play it.
Okay.
So there's two decks. There's a creature deck and an ability deck. Okay, and so you draw one creature and one or two abilities. So two people will do that, and that is your fight. And you have to convince everyone else at the table why your monster would win. and they have all these packs. Like they have the R-rated deck. Like here, I'm looking at one right now. So the creature is the ghost of Osama bin Laden. In his ability, he can only attack opponents' genitals.
Versus, you got another one?
Or here, this is from the nerd deck.
Or
pick a princess. Power level is over 9,000. And so what you do is you buy all the decks and just mix them all together.
Right.
So yeah, they have. We picked that up at Comic-Con last year. What I've heard is really fun is they have a G-rated deck, and I've heard that mixing that with the R-rated deck is really funny.
Oh my goodness. So me and my brother recently, we're nerds. We're just kind of two idiots, and we've always play fought, right? But now that he's like 21 and I'm like 30, it's kind of hard to play fight because it turns in not like a real fight, but like
you can hurt somebody.
Egos get involved and people get bruises. Not like in fights, but it's like. You didn't have to actually pull on my neck that hard. It's like, yeah, I know, but I didn't want to lose, and you were pushing, whatever, right? So what we've started doing is imagination fighting, right? But it's a lot like casting spells, like in the Dresden universe. It's like, so I pull the water up and I sling it at you, and he's like, well, I just pull the rocks up and block it, and then I shoot one at you, and it's like, all right, well, I just pull the wind and I jump side to the, to the side, and it's like, fighting like avatars or with like X-Men power or different superpowers.
So like the first person to miss is the first person to stutter is the one that loses. Is that how it works?
It's not like stutters. It's just like it's kind of like a game of chess of imagination. It's like we're trying to like go back and forth, and it's just like whoever gets overwhelmed. It's like you were using that before. You can't do that again. It's like you're running out of,
You've run out of spells, asshole.
It's for brothers to like, no, I got you first. Like that kind of. It's just fun.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it breaks down into like Avatar from like the Disney Channel, mostly.
And I'm 100 feet in the air.
I like Avatar. The Last Airbender.
I haven't really watched it. My wife loves it.
Fucking amazing show. Great story, really good comedy, and the action is epic. You just have to give up a little bit of... You just have to give a little, The battles aren't to scale. It's like this is the Fire Nation going against the Earth Nation, and there's only 20 people on each side. That doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Like there should be like a couple 100,000 people fighting.
You gotta suspend belief for most of those shows. You really do.
Yeah, but this one, I know. Yeah, I'm saying, but that's just one of the only parts that's like glaring. The rest of it's easy. It's really fun. If you ever get a chance, man, try it out. It's really fun, and it's one of those things that doesn't take but like 2 or 3 episodes to get you hooked enough to keep watching, and then by the first season, you really want to know what happens. Great bad guys.
Oh, sorry
Bless
about
you.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Hopefully that won't be too loud. I was trying to shield the microphone there.
That wasn't too bad.
Oh, man. So, want to bring this up a little bit. Since we do joke about having a Patreon, that's going to happen. And
Yeah?
soon that'll include novels and graphic novels and original artwork.
Well, that's true. Is that a teaser? Dun, 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 dun.
And it's a little bit of a teaser.
All right, we'll leave it there
Hopefully in the next... I'm hoping to have the first thing up on Amazon in like a month.
then. Exciting.
Yeah, I get to learn about how to like put books on Amazon and iTunes and Google and all that, Barnes and Noble. Basically,
And we don't have a Patreon, but just think if you were part of it, you would know what we were talking about.
That's right, and soon it will be. I'll sit down and do it. Like I'm starting to create the list of like, okay, when I have 2 hours on Saturday, do this, check, and then do this, check. So, but
Yeah, the best way I was ever told to like get something done is to just touch it every day. It's just like, even if it's just like I mailed that one letter, I did at least a thing a day. You know what I mean? Like I wrote 2 words down that mattered, that pertain. You know, like you don't want to cut it that small, but you know what I mean. But at least something so it stays in your mind.
oh, absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, that's a thing. It's coming. We would really like to quit our jobs, so please give us money. Really like to quit our jobs.
Unless our bosses are listening, then we really love it and we'd like a raise.
Oh, we definitely want to raise. That is I do get my bonus next week though, so that's a thing.
Fuck yeah.
After taxes, it's going to be like $1,000. But hey, it's $1,000 I didn't have, so probably buy
That
a
is
new
awesome.
buy the new graphics card my wife has been bugging me for.
Oh yeah, what are we getting?
I'm gonna get the same one that I have in there so I can run them in tandem.
Ah, the GTX 980 Ti came out though.
Oh yeah, a graphics card so badass it comes with its own water cooling.
That thing is so sick. It's like a Titan for only $700.
Yeah, they're saying they can run 4Ks at a time. Yeah,
Oh.
if I had $700, I'd buy it tomorrow and just say,
You got 1,000.
"Hey, I got bills and shit to pay off, man.
I hear you. I hear
Got
you.
medical bills and all, you know how it goes. Being grown up sucks."
It does. It really does.
But you get to drink and have sex and occasionally do something fun, so
Wait, the sex and the drinking wasn't fun? He's like, no, that just makes it bearable. That's the stuff
There
that gets you to the fun.
there are days. Was it?
Yeah, you ever had those days where you're like, I just need a pussy for like an hour. Like, I don't even care whose it is. I
Yeah.
just need something.
It was last Thursday. Like, there's been this job that I've been in the running for, and something weird happened. So I talked to the recruiter, and she's like, "Hey, HR wants you to apply, so you're in the system." So I go through the hassle of applying online to this company, and if anyone's ever applied online to a company, you know it's a pain in the ass for the most part. And so I get it all done. And this is, I've been actually pretty excited about this job because it sounds like fun, et cetera, et cetera. It pays well. And like 2 hours later, I get a rejection notice from the company. And so I emailed her, and she's like, "No, it's just a mistake. It was a mistake." But it's like, it took it out of me. And plus, there's been some other stuff going on. It's like, sweetheart, I know we're supposed to go home and work out, but we're going to the bar. That's what I just need a couple of drinks.
I've had those where you just come home and you're like, where's the whiskey at? Where do we keep the whiskey? Oh, yeah. And then you just start pouring shots. It's just like, I think I'll start with 3. and then I'll go take a shower. See where I feel after that.
Or when you have one beer and you get up to go get your next one and realize you've drank the entire sixer in like an hour and a half.
Ugh, yeah.
That's the worst. That makes you feel really bad. At least with, with whiskey or, shots, you really don't notice the level going down as much. But when you clear out a sixer, you've done some work. And especially when you've done it in no time flat and didn't even realize it.
You killed a bottle of wine in half an hour. You go to pour the next glass and you're like, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're more disappointed that you don't have more than you are that you finished it.
That's why you always got to have a backup.
That's right.
You need something strong to back you up, just in case. So like, crap, I'm out of wine. Well, I guess there's the vodka.
Yeah. Vodka's really good with Coke. Vodka Cokes. I didn't know that.
Never heard of it.
It's really good. Like, vodka apparently doesn't have any taste. So you can just add it to Coke and it just makes Coke a little, sharper, but it's not bad.
Cool. Yeah, my wife digs the vodka cranberries.
I can't do cranberries. They're whatever that it's almost like a dryness, right? Like there's like a lack of moisture after you drink a cranberry. It's like, this is weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, by Sunday, because my wife had a massage, so the deal is she gets the massage, I get to go to the bar. So she dropped me off, and by Sunday, I was kind of over beer. I'd had my fill. I'd been off since Thursday afternoon because I got to leave work at like 2:45 Thursday, so we, good times. And I was just like, you know what? And I told the bartender, and I was like, hey, just make me something sweet and boozy. She's like, you're going to look like a girl, right? Like, I don't care. Just give me something tasty and fruity and boozy. Let me go to town. And
What'd you end up with?
She made this it was like cucumber.
Did you just say cute?
Cucumber.
Cucumber.
Cucumber citrus thing. So it's like, so you get sort of that really nice fresh flavor of like cucumber water with like some citrusy flavors. It was really yummy.
It was actually really yummy.
I mean,
Did it get the job done?
Oh yeah, it was pretty strong. It wasn't LIT strong, but it was pretty strong. It's sad. In my days of drinking, I've sort of become an LIT connoisseur. I know like where the best ones are around Pittsburgh. I knew where the best ones are in Tulsa and Stillwater.
What is that?
Long Island.
Oh, I see.
Oh, have you ever had a Georgia peach?
No.
Okay, so it's a Long Island, but instead of the sweet and sour, it's peach schnapps.
Oh,
it's good. It's dangerous.
Have you ever had an Italian margarita?
No, what's that?
It's a margarita,
but
instead of the rim of the glass being salt, like lime salt, replace that with orange sugar.
Ooh, that sounds yummy.
Okay. And then instead of the shot of tequila, you know how like you normally make a margarita. You use tequila to make a margarita. You still do that, right? Like just make a normal margarita. But instead of adding that extra shot that some people put in there, amaretto.
Huh.
With the orange and the margarita and the salt and the sugar instead of the salt. To fucking die for. Fucking die for.
Up here, one of the things they do during the fall when, there's all the pumpkin beer. Pumpkin everything, but pumpkin beer.
Pumpkin beer?
Oh, yeah, it's a big thing now.
Okay,
what they
decent?
do,
I know.
it's good. You can definitely have some good ones. I'm not a big fan of sweet beer. I don't mind sweet booze, but sweet beer is just not my thing. But what they do here, I've never seen anywhere else, is for the pumpkin beer, they give you a cinnamon sugar rim. So you sort of makes this sort of pumpkin pie-y. It's really good.
Yeah. What did you do that one time where you bought something and then poured cinnamon schnapps in it?
Oh, chai latte from Starbucks.
Yeah.
That made
it's actually pretty decent.
You just get like you get it, make it extra strong. You can't even taste the liquor. You just get a little cinnamon. Yeah. So
yeah, we're giving all our secrets away.
Hey, man. Drinking's meant to be shared.
You can get that Italian margarita at Olive Gardens.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been in Olive Garden in a long time.
Yeah, they're still not that great. But if you get a gift card, not bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, the bar we went to in Stillwater when we were going there a lot is I would order a Long Island, so he would make it all the way up, and he'd go click, click for the sweet and sour and Coke. That's all it was. Click, click. It was 90% booze. 95%.
Man, you remember the one we got in Dallas?
Oh, God. I was so hungover that next day.
Dude, we drank like 2 of them, and the world was just kind of slightly fuzzy.
Oh, no, we drank way more than 2, dude.
I meant at the beginning. I meant in the beginning, like when we first had like the first 2. I'm not talking about like at 3 o'clock that night. When did we stop drinking? At like 1:45?
I don't know.
I think we almost made last call.
No, I think we did make last call. Because I remember... Okay, so this was at the Gaylord Texan, which is, if anyone knows anything about the Gaylord hotels, it's all about the inside. They're huge arboretums, there's restaurants, and like riverboat tours. No, really, riverboat tours through the hotel.
Yeah, they also had like this giant train set that kind of snaked its way through the trees and the weeds, and it would go down through tunnels and come back out in other places. They had actors that did the like statue thing where they sit and are perfectly still. At one place they had a mariachi band. On the other end they had a piano bar, and they didn't interact with each other because the place is big enough that it's one of those places that you just go on vacation to the hotel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have no reason to actually leave.
So I remember stumbling around and making that Mexican restaurant that was still open at like 1:30 in the afternoon and getting more beer and like nachos or something with queso.
Nachos, but they weren't really nachos. They were like tortillas. Yeah.
And the guy on the piano who was really good.
He was really good, and we kept like yelling out requests and stuff. He hit most of them too. He could play like some stuff on the piano. We were like, I didn't know that you could do that. Yeah,
it was really good. Good times. Way back in the way back. Jeez.
Yeah, back when he had the Rex.
Yeah. So that was 6 years ago now, I guess.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, fun memory. Bad girlfriend at the time. Oh, well.
I hear you. But that's all solved now. Your girl seems awesome.
Oh, yeah, she's fantastic.
She drinks beer and plays Dota with you. What's up?
Yeah, she's big into wine, so that's her thing. But
I like how she cusses out the opponents. You fucking suck at this game.
I'm just gonna have to turn my mic on one day. You're just going to listen to her play Dota. It can get bad, especially. Yeah, it can get bad, especially for losing just by a little bit. She's like, "Oh, you fucking suck, you son of a bitch." It's not as bad as Team Fortress 2.
Oh, really?
Oh, she got bad during Team Fortress 2 because that was what we used to play together. It was TF2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Back when we were dating long distance, that was probably 2 nights a week. We would get up on Skype and play Team Fortress together and talk. So, yeah, but yeah, she gets very into it. Or like if she's playing like Assassin's Creed or something, she's like cursing at the NPCs.
They're not even real people.
I know. Oh man.
You been in any video games lately?
No, but I did. The new King's Quest is coming out this month.
Wow.
It looks amazing, and I've already pre-ordered it, like all the episodes, everything. I'm like, just waiting.
Like I'm in.
Like I haven't looked this forward to a game since South Park. Which is, if you haven't played South Park, you really got to play South Park. It's
I need to get into that.
Good. If you like, it's old enough now that if you watch on Steam, you can get it for like $12. Actually, let's look.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it like during the sales. It'll drop down pretty low.
Yeah, the summer sale just happened, so I don't think they're gonna be putting anything crazy on.
Just gotta watch for the winter sale. That's where it's at.
Yeah, what's up, man? 2 years ago, the winter sale got me for like $100.
Oh, I know.
It was such an awesome sale.
Oh yeah, I think it was 2 years ago I bought every Star Wars game on Steam. I've still only played like half of them. Because that's what you do with the winter sales. You buy all these games. You're like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna get to it. No,
you never get.
You never do. Oh, that's gonna be loud. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Yeah, that's. And then now GOG's doing big sales, and they got me for a couple during their summer sale.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, they got some good stuff, especially if you want something a bit older. Like, they had all the X-Wings and TIE Fighters for $7.
Not bad.
I'm just... Here's the one thing that bugs me, is I can't use a controller on, like, X-Wing and TIE Fighter. Like, there's something about the 360 controller that just doesn't jive, so I need to go find, like, a decent old school joystick and hope to God it works, because those games,
that'd be kind of cool.
Those games weren't used to looking for USB, right? It was back when they had the big old serial ports you plugged your joystick into.
Wow,
You know,
I don't even know.
I mean, I want to say the X-Wing was like 92 or something. So
no shit.
Yeah, I want to say that. Yeah, it was old school. Back on, it came on 8 3.25-inch floppy disks.
That's such a weird thing to think of. That was only, what, 15, 20 years ago? Well, 20 years is a long time, I guess.
It is a long time. But it's... Just think about how far computer games have come since the 2000s. You know, like 2002, 2003. Like
what?
Like, you know, the old school... like Hitman, or those games that just they were so mind blowing back then, and now they'll run on just about anything.
Yeah, you mean like an iPad?
Yeah,
like on almost anything.
Oh yeah,
I saw some people playing PlayStation 3 games on their cell phone.
Yeah, seen that.
What? That's incredible. I don't know, it's just weird.
For a while, when I used to get up pretty early when I was living in Tulsa and go to the gym, and I rigged it up because I have a hacked Android tablet. It used to be an HP tablet that I got super cheap, and got Android running on it. And I used to and I got to where a PS3 controller would work on it, and so I would sit there doing cardio, playing Mario Kart, and because you can get all the emulators for SNES and stuff for Android.
For like 6 in the morning, you're up there running on a treadmill playing Mario Kart in a gym.
Hey man,
if that's not the future, I don't know what is. I mean, come on now. Eventually, you're gonna be able to put on your VR set while you run, and you'll be able to run like anywhere.
Oh yeah, it's coming. I worked with these guys that were working on doing immersive 3D. So it wasn't a headset virtual reality, but it broadcasts the world around you.
Hyper definition.
And one of the things we were talking about is like this would be great for like cycling classes in a gym. Could you imagine like, all right, now we're going to do the second stage of the Tour de France. Click a button, poof, and it starts.
Classrooms.
Yeah.
That's where the best place would be. Classrooms. Especially if you had a classroom and a hallway that allowed you to like walk down the hallway, and it could change, and you could walk into the classroom, and each room would change, allowing you to have kind of a augmented reality. That'd be fun.
Would be fun.
Did you see what Oculus Rift is recommending that you have to play games? Like their minimum requirements? I
remember seeing it and thinking it wasn't that bad.
If you consider a GTX 970 not that bad.
I didn't look that closely. I saw the i5 and I was like, eh.
Yeah, but it's an i5 4690. It's like, the baddest i5 there is. And you need the Z97, you'll need the L90 or Z97 motherboard and stuff. It's like it's going to require some real rig, you're looking at least $1,000 gaming rig. You need about a $250 to $300 video card depending on who you get it from.
Yeah, mine's 200, so I might be able to do it. Especially if I
Well,
run
you're gonna
duels.
SLI that one,
Yeah.
or Crossfire, whatever you're gonna do.
Yes,
Crossfire.
Crossfire, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna Crossfire yours. So you'll be straight.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it. I back this Kickstarter. It's called Steam Puff.
Okay.
It's from this animation studio in Tulsa. I know one of the guys who's doing it, and he said they've already figured out a VR thing for some of the episodes, so like a VR experience for it.
Fun.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. So much dead hair. Ooh.
Oh, my bad. Well, blah 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 blah. What's it about? What's the actual Steam Puff? Like, what are they doing?
It's this sort of fun. It looks more, geared towards kids, but it's this really cool animated steampunk adventure.
I love the steampunk universe. And what's the other punk universe that's more
Cyberpunk?
realistic? No, it's like steampunk, but it's a little more realistic.
I don't know. Is it just a variant of steampunk?
It's a variant of steampunk, but it's where you're part of the working class instead of the upper class. You get to see how the machinery works. I can't remember what they call it.
Nice.
Anyway, it's fun. I like that universe. If I had if I had unlimited cash, I'd be one of those eccentric rich people that would have cosplay outfits.
Oh yeah.
One of them would be a steampunk cosplay. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. I would like to get into the cosplay a bit more. I think it'd be fun. Get all dressed. I've been doing enough cons, too. So I think I can start branching out a little bit, getting out of my comfort zone. But some of those costumes, that I've seen, I'm like, how'd you get them there? Did you ship them separately? Because some of these things are huge. They're like 10 feet tall.
Oh, you're talking about some of the mechs and some of the cardboard contraptions that some of those people build? Mm-hmm. I have no idea how they do it.
They got to ship them in pieces or drive them there.
I don't know. Because it looks so delicate. It's like, oh, how upset would you be if somebody sat on the helmet?
Oh, yeah. Some of those people, man, spend hours and hours.
It looks like they spend, that's what they do.
That's their hobby is cosplay.
Yeah, it's making it just a little bit better, a little more realistic. Some of them are unbelievable. And then some of them are just naked, which I appreciate. It's like, I like your cosplay. You didn't do anything. It's like the less you put on, the better.
Oh, yeah. San Diego Comic-Con starts in 2 days, and it's killing me I'm here and not there.
I know.
It's so bad because, I follow that kind of stuff on Twitter, so it's just ramping up and ramping up. I'm like, oh. And me being me, I'm still reading all the updates on. I'm like, it's gotta start hurting less, right? That's the theory, anyway.
No, it won't start hurting less until you start getting excited about the possibility of purchasing tickets for next year's. Well, that's when you'll feel better.
Next year, this is honest to God, one of the reasons I'm doing this whole story thing with you is we're going on fucking pro badges. I'm not going to that fucking open sale anymore. I will if I have to, but I'm done. I'm done with that shit.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Calm down. That escalated quickly.
I know. It was just because we talked early in the podcast about the awesome apartment I had gotten. It was a little mile away.
You're still salty.
I'm still salty. I have unresolved issues about this.
We've been doing this podcast for almost 6 months now, and we're still talking about the first episode.
Come on, this is the third.
Whatever.
One of these days, I'm gonna go back and listen to the original ones and be like, "Oh wow, we were terrible."
I think we'll come back and listen to this one and still think we were terrible.
Hey,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it feels like since about episode 15 or so, we've just hit new strides with the podcast.
Yeah, I think everything's getting a little better.
Because some podcasts will be really in depth with news and other shit, and other times are just bullshit, and they seem to flow pretty well. And sometimes we go from really happy to really sad, depressing to really happy again, and just really weird.
That is true. That is true. But you'll end up asking me questions that I'm like, well, that's not what we were talking about. But yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to do is like find all the questions that we rabbit trailed from and then bring them back up so we can discuss them in earnest.
We should start a second podcast for the Patreon listeners where we go back and we kind of like re-listen to like our old podcast and then discuss it.
Oh.
You know, just like a 30-minute, just kind of me and you, just like, I wanted to clarify what I actually meant here. And I also think this is like a lot more of an in-depth response to this gay marriage thing, or this is, you know.
And also, you're an asshole, but, you know, moving on.
Right, right. I think we should just do that with, you know, once we get the Patreon and we can quit our jobs like we've been talking about, we can move on with being rich and famous podcasters.
To be the first ones.
Well, I don't know about that. Adam Carolla and Joe Rogan seem to be doing okay.
Yeah, but don't they have other jobs?
Right, but I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan has 12 to 15 million listeners an episode.
Wow.
His sponsorships have got to be worth some change.
Oh, yeah, if your audience is that big an episode.
I mean, what would you think would be realistic? 20 grand?
I'd have to hear the spots and stuff and who's doing it, but, you know, probably like 10,000 a minute.
What?
Well,
no. You mean for the spot? Yeah.
Yeah. No. His podcast isn't worth it.
I was like, he's not making 10 grand a minute for the whole podcast. It's a 3-hour podcast. No wonder they're so long. I like his model. Maybe we should adopt it.
You see that Amazon's going to start paying people who use the lending library, so you can set your book up to be a part of the lending library on Kindle. That they're going to read, they're going to pay you per page that people read and not just per download.
Oh. Why would that be? What? That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't the whole story be?
Well, no. Well, it encourages higher production content than someone who just downloads a book and says, "Oh, this is terrible," and puts it back up.
I see.
So if it's super high quality, like my stuff's going to be, our stuff's going to be.
Hell yeah, our stuff's going to be. Well, I hate to do it, but I think we're having a meltdown at the house. I'm going to have to call it a night, dude.
Alrighty, man.
Emergency text messages from the girlfriend.
Fantastic. Well,
so,
ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for coming to the 42 podcast.
Bye.
So, yeah, it's bad.
I wonder what the advantage of. I wonder how they got talked into it. Like, what was the advantages of doing it?
Well, one of the ideas is free trade. You know, it's you can travel as easily, never have to change currencies, trade between countries because they are so close to each other. People don't understand. A lot of people don't understand just how small Europe really is.
Yeah.
You know, Texas is the size of most of Europe. You know, it's a
little,
and so, you know, when borders are that close, having open borders, open currency is fine. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it causes issues, like I said, with economic policies because, you know, you can have countries on either side of the continent that have completely different economies. You know, one can be agrarian and one can be more commercial, you know, water-based. Mm-hmm. And so it like I said, doesn't allow the flexibility. But for some countries, it seemed like a good idea because it would give them a stable currency. They you know, some of the smaller countries that didn't have great financials that were still ravaged after the world wars, you know, they were able to have a strong centralized currency that everyone would react to, and it made them easier to sell their goods internationally because of the euro. It seems like a great idea, but it just doesn't work well. Could you imagine? Well, I mean, it works in the U.S., but there's less autonomy between the nations.
States.
Yes, states. Nation states.
Whoa, easy.
Hey, did you see the thing about Texas and their gold?
What about our gold? I'm a Texan. What's up?
Okay, Texas owns in physical gold about $650 million worth. Not a small amount. They're pulling it all inside their borders. Some of it's at Fort Knox. Some of it's they're collecting it all and bringing it inside the state of Texas.
Interesting.
Which is a very
conspiracy theories run rampant.
Oh yeah. Secession. It's coming.
What's the Illuminati doing?
Man.
I got an interesting question. You could correct me because you'll know more than I do.
Okay.
Couldn't you have the European Union currency, right? That allowed you to travel and do commerce between businesses across borders and all of that, right? But all of the individuals got paid in their home currency, and they had to have an exchange rate.
Well, then
there's some.
Well, I mean, you can do that, but it's not worth the effort, really.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, a lot of people do that with dollars. I mean, that's one reason the dollar, even though our economy is as screwed up as it is one reason the dollar does well is because so many people accept it.
Everywhere I've gone, dollars have always run.
They will always pay.
Always take a dollar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In Mexico and Canada, dollars were good. Oh, yeah, we'll take a dollar. Yeah, you don't have to exchange it. It's fine.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, you'll pay a little bit extra, but yeah, I mean, they took dollars without a problem in Costa Rica.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason why our economy, our currency is as stable as it is.
I think the dollar seemed more valuable to them in Honduras than their money did.
Oh, absolutely, because it's
if I had the same value of, it's like $1 and $1, they would much rather have the American dollar than their dollar.
Oh, absolutely, because dollars tend to have more purchasing power across nations than, because, currencies flux between every other currency.
Right.
And there tends to be what is called purchasing power parity. So it'll equivalency. So if you were to Brave still play, so if you do stuff like that, it makes sense. But what Brazil has done, they have these huge 80,000 person stadiums that no one's using. Or the same with Russia, whatever that thing was, 2 years ago. No one's using that stuff anymore.
That's true. Yeah, that almost bankrupts Russia. Or so they say. Who knows? It seems like they got tons of money, though.
Well, they're just.
But that was definitely a financial. That would be kind of cool to have that ability, right? You're like, hey, how much money do you need? And you're like, I don't know, like a couple $100,000. You're like, all right, hey man, go down, run down to the printing presses, get us a couple sheets of cash. We're going out tonight,
Yeah, and that's what's making the whole Greece thing interesting. Because most countries, when they get into the financial trouble that they're in, they just print enough money to pay off all their debts. But they can't because they're with the euro.
The euro, what is that called?
It's the
European Union.
Yeah. And it will probably destroy the EU. The EU will cease to exist, or for all intents and purposes, cease to exist by the end of this year, I would suspect.
You don't think they'll just kick Greece out?
They can't.
Blame some type of, lack of financial, I don't know, responsibility on them or something?
Maybe. And, for a lot of countries, it would be good if they were to leave the euro and not,
Germany would do well.
Well, Germany would do well, but a lot of countries, the problem is having one currency over so many nations is the economic situation is different for each country. So the monetary policy can't flex for those individual countries. And since Germany runs the EU for all intents and purposes, it just flexes around what Germany likes. And what Germany needs is not necessarily what Austria needs or Spain needs or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense why they would be having issues.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 23rd episode of the 42 Podcast. And as always, to the left of my screen, your good friend and mine, Mr. Ryan. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Jacob?
Pretty good. Had a good holiday weekend. It was the 4th of July here in the United States for our non-American listeners. I know there's a couple of y'all.
Yeah, happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Did you have a good time? Did you see the fireworks?
Yeah, I got one of the family members actually as part of the production in Tomball.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
So where I was sitting, and then the little rope that says you can't go any farther. So it was literally as close as you could get without putting a helmet on, like a fire suit, and going out there and shooting them. I was maybe 200 yards, 250 yards away from the thing. I could feel the concussion of them launching. I was like, oh shit. And then they're in the air like exploding over you, like the big 10 inches. The sparks actually felt like they were coming over us. I was like, this is awesome.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, we just watched the people in the neighborhood shoot off fireworks. They love their fireworks here, man. Like, did you get that? Did I text you the picture from like being able to buy them in Walmart?
Yeah, like at a gas station or whatever. It's like, hey, have some cigarettes and a Roman candle.
No beer,
okay.
though. No beer. But, yeah,
Beer.
But it was also one of those things where we got started a bit early, and after about 3, I don't think either of us were good enough to drive. Like, we didn't get overly sloppy, but we were just, we got to that nice point and just held it for about 5 hours.
Yeah, we're just like, man, I feel pretty good. And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, we just
Me
watched
too.
TV and played Dota, and yeah, it was a good time.
I love playing video games slightly drunk because you can't tell that you're worse at the game. It's just like you just are a little worse, and you're like, oh, this is hard.
That's why, especially when I've been drinking and if I'm playing Dota, I always go with a character that doesn't require as much precision. Not as many active abilities.
Just blank them. Just blank it. You're like, I picked the carpet bomber guy. The guy that
pretty much, yeah. Or sniper or something.
Yeah, the flat cannon dude.
But, we want to give a good shout out to the Women's World Cup champion, team. They won. They beat Japan yesterday 5-2.
How much do you care about FIFA now that the scandal happened?
Well, I really don't care about FIFA, but I care about the US doing well.
Is there any integrity in the actual games?
I think in the games, like the FIFA games, are mostly on the up and up, but definitely the site selection isn't. And those.
Okay, so maybe that's just where the corruption lied. What's the advantage of having a like the World Cup at your place? Wouldn't it cost more?
It is starting to.
Then it generates?
It's why a lot of places are starting to say no to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And if you want it for really, industrialized countries like the U.S., it would be a boom to the economy because
the Olympics
or
the World Cup
or the World Cup because we already have all the facilities. I mean, you could easily have the Summer Olympics in Dallas and not build a new facility. Or if you did, you build it. You do like what London did, and they built the new arena, and that's where Manchester United plays now. When the Olympics were in Atlanta, they built the new baseball stadium with a